What is going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo, and we are here with Modern Warfare 3. Some new maps just dropped. The first content for Elite subscribers. Eventually, I believe these maps will be available to everyone, but right now they are Elite exclusive, and that's that $50 a year ordeal that you can buy into, which gives you access to all the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 content as soon as it drops. And this is two maps, which is kind of a different strategy than what they have tried previously with Call of Duty. This map here is Liberation. The other is Piazza, or Piazza. I like to call it Pizza. Liberation's a big open map. Piazza is a very small, twisted, confined, circular map with lots of blind corners and things of that nature. But what's interesting is that they decided to put a small content drop out, and they plan on putting out more small content drops rather than a few big map packs. And initially you think, wow, that's really cool, I'm going to go and I'll get some maps here and some maps a little later, and there'll be this constant stream of content. But actually, I don't like this move, because what it does is it kind of dilutes the release, it dilutes the impact, it dilutes the fun of it all. You know, when a new map pack came out for Black Ops, I was really excited, and there were, you know, multiple maps, and it was like fun because it almost gave you not a mini playlist of sorts, right? So you could go in and just play those maps and play them in all different modes, and it just seemed like a really kind of a fun day, because you got a pack of new maps. And this is basically just a tiny little duo. We have two maps, and while they are both kind of cool, and I'm not complaining about new content, it just doesn't seem like it's as worthwhile. And it's sort of a trend with DLC in general. You see things like season passes coming out for a lot of games, and some games handle it very well, some do not. But the method to the madness here seems to be consistent content drops to keep that game in your drive. And that makes perfect sense from a money standpoint, from a developer-publisher standpoint, from a, you know, Microsoft or Sony standpoint. But from a player standpoint, I don't know how much sense that makes. Personally, I would rather get that bigger map pack. I would rather get that huge level pack. Now, if they're going to do something along the lines of, you know, LA Noire, which released cases along the way, and each case is, you know, an hour or so of content, great. If they're going to do something along the lines of what Saints Row has started to do, now we get kind of more middle ground. Some of the content drops for the Season Pass are actual missions, like Genki Bowl 7. Some of them are just costumes and toys to play with. Now, that's okay, but again, it's giving you diluted content, I feel. And not that the content is any less good or any less great, but just as you would not want to open up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 with 4 maps and half the campaign, I don't really know that I want to come back to the game for a half-baked DLC. And not to say that the quality is half-baked, but just the amount of content, to me, feels half-baked. But on to bigger and better things. This map here, Liberation, is open. It's set in Central Park. The city's all over. Things are kind of destroyed and going crazy. I actually really like this map. I have not played Modern Warfare 3 in a very long time, and it was evident by some of the things I do, like that right there. Like, how? I don't know if that was me dying or who that was dying. But anyway, I haven't played in a long time, and I really haven't played much of this game at all, but I saw the new content. I was like, hey, I'll get back into it. And you know, right there, it shows that what they're doing is working to a degree. But again, I've played those maps now a handful of times each, and I'm kind of like, maybe I'll wait till the next big content drop, or, you know, the next small content drop, and then get back into it, or get into it, you know, at a deeper level. So I want to know in the comments, you know, your thoughts on what you think about the DLC. Would you rather have a bunch of small drops, you know, let's say 10 small packs throughout the year, or would you rather just have 4 or 5 larger content packs that they can kind of, you know, really pump up and really promote and really kind of get you for a weekend or for a week or whatever, but really just fill you with some content instead of, oh, these are 2 new maps that, like, I play a couple times and they just kind of fit in the rotation. It doesn't really feel very monumental. But both maps are pretty solid. Here I'm going to break the action, break the commentary, and give you a Walt Disney World Presents tour of Liberation. This is an animatronic tour. You're in the car with me here. We're going through an assault drone ride. Now, unfortunately, we will not see any sights on this ride except scenery and environment, which is okay to check out the map. But I was very shocked that this ride had no enemies, it had no gunfire, it had no bullets, it had no epic moments. It just was a nice, soothing ride through the Central Park explosion zone. And assault drones I find to be very, I don't know, I don't like them very much at all. I'm not sure if you play them right, if you can really use them great. Again, this is from a care package, so not by choice, but this ride is pretty entertaining. It's about to come to a close. Can't talk right, it's early in the morning. only charges $5 for this ride through the war zone because it's a safety ride. It's protection guaranteed. Nothing happened to us or to you, as you see, and we carry on our way. I like Liberation better than Piazza or Pizza or whatever you want to call it. But it does seem right now to be incredibly sniper heavy, and people just kind of camp in some spots and take you down, which is okay. That's, part of Call of Duty. I fully understand that. It's very interesting for me to go back into a game like this after not really playing. I obviously have skill from Black Ops that, of course, carries over, but I have played really, I looked at my timer when I logged on today, and it said 51 minutes played of Modern Warfare 3, and you're probably like, you have no right to be making this review video. But I do, because there are people that play the game that way. There are people that are going to buy the game today. There are people that are going to buy the game tomorrow, and they will join in at 0 minutes. And something that was very sort of disheartening and stressful for me when I booted up these maps, I went into the Elite playlist to guarantee that I'd be able to play the new maps, and every single person I ever played with had a pretty little gem by their name. And they were prestige to an infinite degree, and I was level 12 when I started. Therefore, I was at an extreme disadvantage with weapons, an extreme disadvantage with unlocks, an extreme disadvantage with experience, and there really was nowhere for me to turn. I was left with either playing with the big boys or not playing the new maps at all. And I don't know if that speaks more to the dedication of the hardcore players or the way that this content is being introduced, but it seems like there's got to be a better way, like a Call of Duty Elite beginners map or something. Just placing, most of the people that are going to buy Elite are going to be those ones with the high-level medals and the high-level, perks and everything great and grand and ruby and sapphire and emerald and pretty. And a lot of people are just going to be sitting there getting ridiculously destroyed. Now, luckily, I decently held my own in this map. I know it's not perfect, but this match was an okay one, and I just wish there was some way for me to play against people who were lower skill level, and I feel like the weapon system this time really does need and requires some kind of balance, because otherwise you're playing against people who have like level 9 weapons or whatnot, and that just doesn't seem to be very fair. This guy coming up here, I have no idea what he's trying to do. Tell me what he's trying. Is he trying to snipe me from close range and just can't do it? I can't either, so I don't really blame him, but I thought it was kind of silly. Like, whoa there, dude. What you been doing? Now, this is a pretty good Predator missile strike. I still like the Predator missile. It's something I really missed in Black Ops. One of my favorite things to kind of fly around and boo-boo-boo-boo-boo. And this is a smart little care package store, and a really dumb decision to turn and face this way. Again, this is me lacking practice. I'm about to get pegged from behind and lose all my money. I feel like I'm playing Mario Kart, and you fall off the track and Lakitu comes and steals your coins. You're like, no, that's all I had saved for the week. Can't buy any food. That's how I feel here. But yeah, let me know if you want me to make a match. Make a match. Yeah, match. Circle and circle. No. But regardless of deaths or kills or gemstones or level 12s, DLC is something that's getting really interesting, especially in the console space. And I don't really know how I feel. I initially used to be so excited by the prospects of DLC in every game. The fact that I'd get new missions for my favorite single-player adventures. The fact that I'd get new maps for my favorite shooters. The fact that I'd get more multiplayer juice out of games like Left 4 Dead 2. But what I realize more and more is the fact of the reality of the situation is that when DLC comes out, I'm less and less interested in the game. If those missions were there when I first played through Alan Wake, if those missions were there when I first played through Assassin's Creed 2, if those missions were there, when I first played through Saints Row the Third, I feel like I would be far more interested and far more excited. But the fact that I need to come back to the game, I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person. Maybe you are, maybe majority of people are, but for me, when I see DLC, I get really excited, and then I go back to the game. And games just, I feel, are one of those things, far, far more so than movie, that really just exist in a specific time. I mean, obviously some games hold up, but for me, from my experience, it really has a lot to do with the release of the game, the hype around that release, the community, the community discussion of the game around that time. And once that's all passed, I don't have nearly as much excitement for the game. And so I pop back in Alan Wake, I pop back in LA Noire, and it's just like, this is fun and cool, but the moment of this game has passed. You can pretty much watch a movie, months later, and it's like, oh, that movie was still good, or that movie was still bad. There really is not much difference, unless you're watching something from 40 years ago. I don't know if it's that video game mechanics just evolve so rapidly, graphical, fidelity evolves so rapidly, but there's something about games that if I have played a game and then go back and play it, it's just not the same. I guess if you waited and never played the game, you could get into it, and by the same token, if I watch a movie once and watch it a few months later, I really don't feel that same extreme separation or extreme distance from the game. But when I play a game and come back a few months later, I feel really, really, really off track. How do you guys feel? What do you think about DLC? Do you like where it's going? That is the match. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and would like to see more Call of Duty. You'll notice here on the kills, death, win, point, money bomb screen in a second that I'm facing off against a bunch of jewelry dealers who all have pretty gems, and I have nothing. Boom! But I got 15 kills, and so I'm happy for a nice early morning session with the new maps. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate, and again, until next time, guys and girls, we'll see you all later.